All right, we're back, and we have Joe Thomas in studio. Hey, Joe.
Hey.
You know, I was talking earlier. People, they retire at a particular time for a lot of reasons, but a lot of the guys I know, they're timing their retirement until they have enough money coming in every month. Sometimes they wait for their ex-wife to get remarried, so they don't have that alimony.
Yeah.
Sometimes they wait for the kids to get out of college. But a lot of people with an annuity, that income they're waiting for, they can have it coming in now.
That's the biggest problem people have. They think it's all about the number, the balance they have in their 401k or the balance they have in their retirement accounts. It's not about that. It's what that turns into in income is what's going to save the day.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of times people will, they'll do things that are, again, I'm not a financial advisor or planner or anything. That's what Joe Thomas is. So you call Joe. But you know, you're right about that. People say, okay, I've got this much money in my bank account or 401k or whatever, and this is what my bills are every month, and this can last me this many years, right? That people, I've known people that figure that way.
Yeah.
But with, you know, what wealthy people do is they don't spend down their principal. Right? They find ways for the principal to earn money for them.
Yeah.
And that's what annuities are.
Sure, you can do an interest only where you don't touch your principal and you're living off it for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Or you can spend down your money over the rest of your life and have a very good income.
Yeah.
You can do both.
Well, you told me a story about a year ago. This really blew my mind. You had a client who worked at Publix, and they didn't realize that not only could they retire, but they were actually earning more money in retirement than they were working at Publix all day.
Yeah. So people don't realize that if you turn your money into income, sometimes you're making more money than you were at your job. And this particular person was a cashier, and she worked 30 years as a cashier.
That's amazing.
And she said, "You mean I don't have to work anymore?" And she said, "I'm making almost the same money. Gross, not net, gross." I said, "No." Her and her husband now are traveling. They go all over the place, and they're enjoying life. You know.
I was talking to someone I know, and they're older than me. They're retired, and they have an annuity.
Yep.
And they said, the money comes every month, and they don't worry. It's almost like. They can count on it just like they count on their Social Security deposit every month.
So we did a show, we have a show, and we did a radio show last week, and it was called Mailbox Money.
Okay.
And basically what it is, every month you're getting that check in the mail guaranteed for the rest of your life. Now, people have a hard time understanding what forever means.
Yeah.
It means until you die, you're getting a check.
That's
and if you pass away, your husband or wife gets the check forever.
And you can leave the annuity to your children.
Anything that's left if you want. Now, we got who's more important, you or the kids? If it's the kids, then we do something different.
Yeah.
Like you always say, each person's different, and you know that better than I do, right?
Yeah.
And we do what's specific to that client. You know,
I know people that are retired that do not have children.
That's true.
Or their children are loaded. And they don't need 10 cents.
I have plenty of clients that have, their son's a doctor, a lawyer, their daughter is all kinds of things. And sometimes they're more worried about themselves than my kids are fine, Well,
one thing too, I was talking to my mother about this the other day because my mother's retired, and I say, hey, Mom, you just got a $6,000 tax deduction on your Social Security. You're going to get a big refund this year. And if I got and if you're married, it's $12K.
Yeah.
So, I know what I would do if I'm not retired yet. But if my wife and I, if we had the $12,000, because we'd get that as a return. If you're retired on Social Security, not everybody will, but most people would get a return. I would say, hey, let's take $2,000 and take a trip or buy a new purse, and you give the $10,000 to you.
Sure, we can do that.
And
we have that new one. We were going to talk about that, the 16% bonus. It's $5,000 minimum you can start it with, and you get a 16% bonus on that one.
Wait a minute. So the new okay. Now we've talked a lot about. You mentioned this last time you were here.
Yeah.
Now this is super amazing. Okay. Now we've talked a lot about this one that you offer that has the 10%. I call it a signing bonus. I don't know if that's
what it is. It is a signing bonus. Yes, sir.
So you get 10% on your money on day one before you're in your car. Right. Now you got another one with 16% interest. Now this one's really exciting to me because you only need $5,000.
Exactly, $5,000 to start it with, and 16% bonus, and then you can add to it every year, and you can contribute this, your taxes if your tax refunds.
Oh, wait a minute, you can add. I did not know this. Okay, so I thought when you got an annuity, however much it was, 5,000, 10,000, 500,000, that was it. But you can add money to
You
annuities?
can add money. Yeah.
Really? People do
And
that?
if you do it within the first year, we still give you the bonus.
Really?
So whether it's 10% or 16%, whatever the bonus is given, we'll give it to you for the first 12 months.
I never knew that people do that. They add
yeah.
money to the annuities?
I have a couple of nurses, and they have a problem saving. So what I do is I send them 12 envelopes, postage paid, and the check comes in every month so that we can
Really?
deposit it for them. Yes, we do that sort of thing.
You mean like a regular monthly deposit into the annuity?
Yeah. People have to learn how to build
That's amazing.
money. And the way you build money is by contributing constantly.
Well, that's what one thing I say about you all the time, you're a successful guy. And I don't say this to blow smoke or anything. I talk about Jupiter and everything. People that are successful financially and they know ways like you're talking about here. Guys like you know how money works in ways that people like me don't understand. Like what you just told me, that's an absolutely amazing thing.
That's the key to success, is learning about money. And that's why our show is information education. That's why we give you the book for free.
Yeah.
When you get a book for free, we mail it to you. It costs us $20. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're giving it to you free. That's a big deal. I don't know who's mailing books out free. Usually they charge you.
Now your book, The Retirement Know-It-All, I've read your book when we first met. It's very easy to read and filled with all kind of actionable stuff that you want. So if you call Joe's office, they'll send you out the book for free, or you can go to jupiterjoe.com and get the information. But that's an interesting thing. So because what I thought, this is how I thought it worked. You're telling me something different that I never understood before, never knew. You could add money to your annuity because I thought people would just save up and maybe get another annuity.
So we have people that are saving for retirement and people who are in retirement or going to retire. So those people want income right away.
Yeah.
But there are some people who are still building and building.
Okay.
And they want to put away as much money. People always say to me, is it too late? It's never too late. I have people in their 70s, late 70s that do this, and they're building up until they're 80, so their money lasts until they're 100.
Well, people are living a lot longer now.
Exactly. Yep. There's more centurions now than there's ever been in the history of America. Yeah. So if you're going to live until you're 100, you better hope that your money doesn't run out before you do.
And you don't want to be, there's so many people living to be in their 90s and 100. It's really amazing. And you don't want to be 94 and be broke all of a sudden.
Yeah. Well, I always say people that are working at Publix, some of them know they're working at Publix and they want to work. The people who have to work there is not a good deal, Well, I agree that there's no one that wants to be bagging groceries and walking out the cars in the sun that is doing it because they love working. They would find an air conditioned place to work if they loved working. Yeah. But I think a lot of those people don't realize it, but they could make more money in an annuity than they are at that job. Yeah. And investing your money properly. Don't have that emergency fund sitting there doing nothing. Let me show you how to make that money work for you.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, give Joe Thomas a call. Now, remember, it's a no-charge consultation. And as you can hear, all different kinds of scenarios we're talking about. So he'll put together a custom proposal based on you and your situation. Okay. And his number is 561. And I want to highlight that these are custom proposals, not a cookie cutter proposal, as you can see with these different situations. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to jupiterjoe.com. All right, Joe, we'll see you next time.